Hello. I've managed to calm down a little bit on my schoolwork. I've got a bad migraine at the moment, and my anxiety's really high, but I took my anxiety pill, so hopefully I'll be able to get through this without freaking out. My last video had me thinking about burnout, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about that. This burnout, it creeps up on you. You kind of don't notice it's happened until you're already right in the middle of it, or at least that's how it was for me. Thinking back to my high school years, freshman year, going with the candle analogy, I was just a bright, glowing candle. I was happy and energetic and hyper even, and it was a good energy. And of course there was that one class that I always fell asleep in that year, but there wasn't just that constant exhaustion dragging me down. And then sophomore year started, and that light on my candle started to flicker a little bit. It kind of just started with I was feeling tired pretty much all the time. I started losing motivation. Schoolwork just started feeling less and less important to me. At this point though, I didn't really think anything was wrong. Other than, yeah, I'm just tired, I need to sleep more. I can't sleep more, I'm already sleeping as much as I can. I was falling asleep in class more, my eyes would hurt from being so tired. Junior year, things just kept going downhill, and things just seemed to go downhill at a faster rate as time went on. That year I had a problem with TMJ, which is basically my jaw was crooked, and that was causing me these awful migraines. So I was dealing with that all junior year, on top of this growing burnout. I was sleeping more and more in class, at home, and caring less and less. My grades, they didn't suffer as much as you would think that they would, just given how bad my mental state was at the time. So I'm not really sure how I kept myself afloat academically. And it still confuses me. I think about it a lot because I just have zero clue how I passed anything. Alright, so a slight change in scenery. People got home, so I'm now hiding in my bedroom. So besides just the academic part, I really started to lose interest in a lot of social aspects as well. leaving my house, was just such a chore. And, the depression made me feel like people didn't even care or want to see me anyways. So I kind of just stopped seeing the point. Senior year, things just got a lot worse. I felt like I was carrying a boulder in my stomach, just with the massive amount of energy that it required just to keep myself standing. I probably slept through a lot of the school day and got home and slept some more. By those last 2 years, I was really starting to realize there was something wrong. I wasn't really sure what it was. I went to see my doctor at one point, just about the exhaustion, and I can't even remember what they said, but nothing changed, so it must have been absolutely no help at all. And it was really rough, and I just was not taking care of myself, I guess. Otherwise I would have realized, I need rest. I need help. I was drowning. I probably could have benefited from a therapist if I hadn't been so shy. And of course, my social anxiety is always in the background. And this whole time, just making me too shy to ask for help. And so I kept going. I forced myself to keep getting out of bed every morning, even though I really just did not want to. I was just about to throw my alarm clock at the wall every morning. And I think a really unhealthy mentality starts to form around that, and that's just keep going. And that is good to just keep going, but at the same time, if you're going at the cost of neglecting yourself, neglecting your health, then that's just gonna make things so much worse for you. It is so important to rest when you're tired, to know your limits and not try and push yourself past them, because when it gets to the point that you're falling asleep standing up and leaning against things just to keep standing, it's kind of too late by that point. by that point, you just need to take a break, just to stop everything, rest, learn how to take care of yourself. And I wasn't even like a really high overachiever person. I mean, I wasn't like a super low achiever, but I wasn't the type of person to just constantly be pushing myself, and that's probably due to the anxiety. I never really developed that drive to push myself further and further. I found a comfort zone, and I stayed in it, and I was fine there. And I guess with overexhaustion, that comfort zone just shrank, and I tried to keep myself functioning, but I mean, I guess I was to an extent, but I was really suffering because of it. And I guess that's the whole thing about invisible illness. People just couldn't see that some days I was so lonely that my stomach would be clenched in pain, and I'd sit hunched over just because the idea of just keep going, just was almost unbearable. I'd developed kind of an anxious habit of rocking back and forth. I guess, I don't even know what the point of that was, to comfort myself or what, I don't know, but it would happen when I'd get upset. I'd be sitting there in class just rocking back and forth in my chair, and more than just my usual fidgetiness, because I've never been a person who can sit still. I fidget, I move, I shake my leg about as much as a vibrating cell phone. But it was just kind of a purposeful, constant rocking that I was aware of, and had no idea why I was doing it, but I kept doing it. And people would tell me all the time, "Gee, you look tired." Like, yeah, I am tired. I'm tired of having to get up every day when it's such a struggle. And that is the memory of being burnt out just is always there. I guess I start to feel stressed, and I remember what happened. I guess I just desperately want to avoid being in that kind of state again. I'm trying to take better care of myself, to recognize when I need to rest. I started therapy, and then medication, and that's all been helpful. And I, would highly recommend both to anyone who feels like they're struggling. And I would also recommend, if you feel like you're struggling just a little bit, get help then, because these things just grow, and then it becomes just a lot harder to deal with.